Welcome to this training. This is what it was like to get a peer worker.
And why you should get a peer worker at your service.
Hello, my name is Alison and I'm a peer worker at Wild.
Hello, my name is Christy and I'm also a peer worker at Wild.
Acknowledgement of country. We want to acknowledge the Turrbal and Yagara people of Meanjin. They are the traditional owners of the land we are on today. We would like to pay our respects to their elders past and present. It always was and always will be Aboriginal land.
What's a peer worker? What's a peer worker? A peer worker who works with people going through violence and got disability and help all others. And it's great to be a peer worker. And I love to be a peer worker to help others. It's easy to help others who's going through violence because I've been there, done that. And it's easier for them to talk to us.
A peer worker is someone with something in common with the group they support or advocate for. A peer worker at Wild is someone with an intellectual disability and experiences to do with the project they're working on, such as having experienced domestic and family violence or sexual violence. Peer workers can do lots of different kinds of work. They can work with clients at Wild, run groups, lead training, work on policy and research projects. At Wild, we help run groups, lead training, and make things like podcasts, videos, and finally booklets.
What is a peer worker? We make clients feel comfortable and welcome.
Why is it important? Give us meaningful paid jobs. Having meaningful things to do day to day. I like having all the different experiences for groups, meeting up with all the different organizations, learning how to do the podcast, learning about making booklets, and also getting up early for training workshops. Getting to do more in my life instead of relaxing at home, instead of watching Netflix with my gorgeous, beautiful dog called Banjo.
Giving us meaningful paid jobs. It's really good for us to get a paid job. It gives us an experience to learn more things and help others. And we should be able to work and get a job. Yes, we've got disability. Yes, we might not do things or we can't do things. It might take us a little bit longer, but we'll get there. We shouldn't have to prove it to you we can work. So like, for example, if we get a job somewhere, we want to work at the counter, they'll put us at the back because they don't want to know us because we've got disability.
Being a role model. I love being a role model. It shows that people with intellectual disability can be leaders. Some people think people with intellectual disability cannot be leaders, and they just sit back and not be, and they sit back and ignore the people with disabilities. Look at Parliament, you don't see people with an intellectual disability at all. It shows all the different things people with disability can do. It gives other people with intellectual disability hope for their dreams and futures and a voice. Now we're going to hear a quote from the expert for women with and non-binary people. I don't think I've seen someone with an intellectual disability teach. It's amazing. She was brave enough to do it and didn't let her intellectual disability stop her. She was just treated normally. I liked that.
From the expert, it's good to have a peer worker can look up to them.
Yes, good to have someone who has disability being a worker. Shows that people with disabilities can get out of relationships that they don't like. She put her voice out there to help lots of people and help them come up with the ideas. We are lived experience experts. I like bringing my prior experience. I've had a few different experiences with workshops, also emceeing workshops at Parliament House and events at Parliament House, and also my work with Gideon. I like being a peer leader and sharing my experience of intellectual disability also because I stand up in the field of people with intellectual disability, both women and non-binary.
We are living experts because I've been there, done that. I know what people are going through. And because I like to help them, and it's more easier for us to talk to each other because we've both been there. We all know what we're on about, and it's hard to tell others or talk to others who we don't know because we just get put down, or they don't believe us, or they push us away.
Mike's Finsmoego. Workers sometimes can make clients nervous. The expert said it was less scary talking to us. We understand more about what people have been through. They know we have lived experience of violence like them. This helps make things less scary and they feel more comfortable knowing that we're teaching them. Another quote, yeah, she was cool. She was the main reason the group was cool. She was on the same level as us and got us. Having a peer worker like us to show it's not a scary thing to bring out our ideas. And we don't have to share if we didn't want to. And people like that might listen to that to hear we're good people.
Make things easier to understand. We try to make things easy to understand what we can understand because there is some hard words we can't understand, even long words. Even though we don't hear these words, we try to tell them we don't understand that word because we never heard it before, or we don't know that word. Can you explain it a different way, or can you cut it down, or help us to understand that word?
It's good that you have people with disability working with people who have disability. That way she can understand us probably a bit more than you guys. I think the understanding is a big one. She has a disability, so I can relate to her.
Yes, she was funny. I could understand her really good. Make it more comfortable. We usually invite people in our doors to make them feel more comfortable by helping them and talking to them. Then I'll go around asking them if they'd like a cup of coffee or cup of tea to make them feel comfortable. Then I will help them if they need help. And then we do all other things to help them, but we do not make them to do things what they don't want to. We're there for them, not to make them do things.
Yeah, it does help to have someone has an intellectual disability. Make it easier to talk about. Knowing that there is a peer worker like me in the group, a peer worker, because they know what we have been through.
Getting that job and getting it started.
Let people know they can call and ask questions about the job with the support worker if they need. That's what I did. I actually had the support worker, their name is called Sam. They were part of the support worker project. Support worker podcast, which we did. Make sure the job description, contract, and policies are in easy English and easy to understand. Make it clear that the job does not need the person to have previous or prior experience. Let the person know they will get training on the job site. Go through job training slowly and at their pace. If there is an interview, try to do it in a place where the person feels comfortable, example online or in a pub or at a cafe with a cup of coffee or tea. Let people know they can bring a support worker to the interview and to their job.
Getting the job and getting it started. It's important to talk to peer workers about boundaries. It's more like we talk about what I mean about boundaries, about rules. We talk about a lot of rules, what we can do, what we can't do. And we also set rules for clients, what they can do, what we can't do, because it makes it easier for everyone to agree. If they have any rules to add on to another rules, we will ask them and we will add it on. It's very important to have rules in your job.
support and accessibility. Offer regular supervision sessions and come up with ideas or what you need to work on in the supervision sessions. Talk with them about any skills they would like to work on. Example, welcome to country and other sort of skills like listening skills or how to work with other client skills. Support them to practice these skills in practical ways. Encourage them to talk about things they're worried about or having difficult issues with. Give them as much time as possible to prep. Example, my experience when I first started, I was rushed into the workshops and didn't have the time to prepare my speech or have a day-to-day work looked like. Encourage them to talk about things they do not like about their job and what they find difficult. All information should be easy to understand. Example, easy English run sheets and paperwork to fill out at the beginning when you start the job. Ask their opinion often on what's happening or what the past has happened. Remind them about important dates, example, work dates and work times. At the beginning of shift, go over what they will be doing that day, example, the run sheet. Include them in workplace events, example, the work Christmas party, which I am on the committee for again. Support them to think about what personal information they would like to share with others. Example, I've been through domestic both a couple of different violences in the past. So what?
Sometimes it's hard to give feedbacks. Yes, it's hard to give feedbacks, especially when you're new and you don't know what to put down because you're too scared. And especially when you meet new people and ask you to give a feedback. And for example, you're too scared to tell them what you want to put down, or if you can't do it because you're too scared to tell them you can't spell or read because you get picked on so many times.
This current feedback was how us workers give feedback to the other workers. Example, good and negative things about how they went and what you thought of their workshop. So what else?
Building relationships.
Let us know that their opinions are important.
Share the power.
Let's all give each other some feedback now.
Sometimes it's hard to give feedbacks. So what helps?
Practice, practice, and more practice. Regular interviews and chances to share opinions. Celebrate when we do share important and fun things. And finally, tell us why you need to know and that it will make things a lot better in the future.
Yes, and it's really, really good to give feedback because it helps, especially if you put one down. And even though it's very hard to put it down because you don't know what's going to happen next, but it's really good if you do it. And if you explain it to them why you need a feedback, the good one and the bad one, because that way you can tell them, reason we do this, so if there's anything changed or anything wrong, we can make it better for the next one.
Peer accessibility. Peer workers should be asked what would help them to do their jobs. This may include discussions about how long you work for in terms of the days and hours when you work, how many days a week or month or year, breaks between work days, how many breaks between work days you do, communication reminders, text, phone calls, email feedback, talking with supporters, and getting regular updates about reminder texts or emails so I can put them in my calendar. Easy English information, especially when jobs and also where we're going and what time we're to be at the example plane when we flew to Rocky a few years ago.
Change for us. Being a peer worker has helped me. For example, I never had a job. No one would give me a job. I was on my own I was going through hard times and I had nowhere to go and I had no one to help me. Every time I look for a job, I get pushed back because they reckon I can't do it. But for example, I came to Wild to do some stuff, activities and that, and they gave me a fair go. They gave me a job.
Think more positive about myself and less negative. Think positive about the future and think positive about how I feel going to work. Feel better about myself. It makes me feel like I belong somewhere in a meaningful area.
Yes, and I will stand up for myself and I will use my voice louder and I will stand up for others and use my voice for them.
I feel like I have a very strong voice. I can stand up for women and non-binary people with intellectual disabilities and all sorts of disabilities.
Yes, and I will make myself feel better every day now, and I will make someone else feel better every day. I'll tell them they look beautiful, and that's what you need to do, and you need to stand up for them. Thank you for watching and listening to us. Thank you. And it's really good to have a P worker for your service because they can be great for you to get to know more people and they give you great advices.
Thank you once again for watching this lovely video. We look forward to having you participate or watch these videos in the future. Thank you, and check out Wild's website and you think you can and you think you'll be expert for more absolutely resources on this project and what we've done.